And welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. Today we're talking about the Miami Dolphins, and I think it all starts with Tua. I think that Tua leads the way for the Dolphins. As you know, Tua just got paid a massive contract, which I think makes him around the third highest paid quarterback in the league. But he had a really good year, and you're looking at his NFL ranks over the last two seasons where he has been at yards per attempt, 8.5. You see that he's over 8,000 yards in passing yards, and then completion percentage, 67%. And his total QBR is ranked for fifth, and passing touchdowns fifth as well. But more importantly, Tua is going to lead the way for the Dolphins. And I think for Tua and the Dolphins to take this next step, he is going to have to show that he is just more than a game manager. I think that there were a lot of times where if you knock Tua off of his first read, I think that the offense really struggles after that. And this is a lot of what I think happens with Brock Purdy. It's the ability to now make a play or find that second and third read in the option. And I think if the Dolphins are going to go anywhere, they're going to have to figure that out because this is a offense that really runs off timing. And I think once you get physical with this offense, it really starts to cause havoc for them. Now, with that being said, the extension, the money that Tua has made, we move into some of the other questions around the Miami Dolphins this year. They're going with a new defensive coordinator. You wonder just how good they're going to be. And they spent a lot of money for Christian Wilkins to come over from Las Vegas. And so you're hoping that that is going to help them defensively. And I just talked about the fact that this team is going to need to play with a level of physicality. I think that once they got to the playoffs, they were not physical enough when the game slowed down and they had to really, go out there and dig it out of the mud. This team was unable to, but they're going to hopefully get Jalen Phillips back. You get Bradley Chubb back, hopefully from injuries, and you're hoping that that is going to be enough to kick this defense over and make it big. Now, for a team that only gave up the fourth fewest sacks in the NFL, the offensive line has done a little bit of a shuffling job for this particular season. I think that one of the key aspects to go along with Tua playing well is he's got to stay healthy. And so you've got to keep him upright. Anytime you're talking about his protection and it not being there, I get very worried, I guess, for the Dolphins, because if Tua doesn't finish the season, gets injured there, I think that that is going to be hard for the Dolphins to really go out there and make it happen in the long term as well. And then lastly, when it comes down to the wide receiving room, we know how good Tyreek Hill is. We also know how good Jalen Waddle is. But what about Odell Beckham? Odell Beckham has come over and he hasn't been himself really since he left the Rams. I think that last year in Baltimore was not that good. He only had 35 catches over 14 games, 565 yards and 3 scores. Clearly, he just wasn't himself there. Not getting off to a great start right now, as Tua talked about the fact that they don't really have a bunch of continuity, or really they're not on the same page at this point. So that's a little scary. And so now you're talking about just Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. At some point, they've got to do something else. I think from the wide receiver standpoint, we know what they can do in the running game, but I feel like this offense will open up a bit more if they can add a legit check down receiver off of those two. So with that being said, I think that they are looking at being at a 9.5 prediction as far as Vegas is concerned. And it's very interesting because going into this division, I cannot believe that they still have the Bills at the top of this division. We're going to talk about that. But right now, they have the Bills over the Dolphins and the Jets, who are going to get much better now that they have Aaron Rodgers back. And the Bills, well, they lost a whole bunch at the wide receiver position, and you just have to wonder how good they're going to be with Josh Allen out there. So, they have Miami at 9.5 as far as wins prediction. I think that they are going to be a 10-win club. I could see that. It wouldn't shock me if they ended up winning the AFC East. I think that that is very much possible, but I still do not believe in them long term. I just think that they don't bring that level of physicality when it comes to going to places where the weather is not warm. You saw that last year when they had to go and play Kansas City. They weren't very good. And traditionally, they just haven't been very good on the road in the playoffs. So I don't believe in the Dolphins moving forward, but I think they are going to have a good season. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking as we continue these season previews. And we are so close to the NFL season starting. This is your host, Rico, Real Talk Sports. You can catch us on Spotify. You can also catch us on YouTube as well. Thank you to the sponsors out there and the fans who chime in on a week-to-week basis. We'll be talking more about the AFC East. Peace. I'll see you on the next one.